Hello and welcome to my bed. This is going to be a pregnancy update on the second half of the first trimester. I did another pregnancy update on kind of the first part of the first trimester, so I know people kind of do it by the weeks, but I tend to just take notes as I think of them, and then I bring all the notes together to make a video and to hopefully help whoever else is going through pregnancy, and just offer that support and make anyone that feels alone feel a little bit less alone. That's the goal with these videos. So let's dig in. I have my notes here. I have actually a couple little places of notes, so let's look. So one thing that I actually kind of remembered from last time, and I wish someone had told me this, was that it's such a mind fuck when you find out that you're pregnant, because it's instant for you. You are told what you can and can't drink, what you can and can't eat, what you can and can't do, how you should dress as a mom, how you should behave as a mom. I remember my first pregnancy, when I started needing to buy new clothes, I bought clothes that didn't feel like me at all, because I thought it was how I had to dress. So now I'm still wearing crop tops even with my belly. I want to wear the clothes that I have and make those work for as long as they will. And if I do go buy clothes, buy clothes that feel like me. So just because whether you're a first time mom, you're a second, third, fourth time mom, whatever, you get to make the rules. You do not have to follow the guidelines of what a mother should be. You don't have to change your music tastes and listen to different things. I have a toddler at home. He's 3, and I cuss around him, and he knows what his word is. His word is dang it. So he'll even say, close the dang it door. He says that. And it's just one of those things. You can't drink alcohol, can't drink caffeine, you cannot cuss, you can't drive a car, and so my kid just has that understanding. So it's another thing. You don't have to give up cussing either. You get to make the rules. Even with eating, just full disclosure, you're not supposed to eat sushi, but I've been having you're not supposed to eat sushi in high volumes. Mainly because there can, if you're eating tuna especially, or something higher in the food chain, mercury it's concentrated the higher up in the food chain that you go. So tuna is one of those that can have a very high concentration of mercury, so it's recommended that you stay away. I've been having insane cravings for tuna, raw tuna specifically. So for me and my body, I trust my craving over what I'm being told what I can and can't do. I also feel that with this being my second pregnancy, I just have more confidence in doing that too. I'm not telling you to, hey, just fuck what everyone says and just do what you want to do. Check in with your intuition, check in with your doctor. But at the end of the day, you get to choose what is good for you and what is not good for you. Do it with intention, do it in connection with your intuition and what you feel is best for you. But that was something that made me feel like a prisoner in my first pregnancy. I felt like I couldn't do any of these things that I used to do, and it really fucked with me. So yeah, take that for what it is. And I think I mentioned in my first pregnancy update of this pregnancy that I was smoking cannabis every day just to be able to survive because of the nausea and the tiredness and just feeling not super incredible. And now I think since maybe week 13, maybe 12 or 13, and I'm week 16 right now, I haven't had to smoke every day. It wasn't oh, I have to wake up and I feel nauseous and I'm gonna throw up and I can't eat and so I need to smoke. So that's been a really nice development, that I don't have to smoke every day. It's still a nice elixir and medicine for me. Again, not telling you to go smoke cannabis. If if cannabis is already part of your routine, like that's up to you if you want to continue it or not. Obviously, if you live in a legal state, that's going to determine a little bit of it too. But yeah, I thought that was kind of I thought I was going to have to smoke every day for my whole pregnancy, and that wasn't the case. So hopefully that can give other mamas that are struggling with nausea some hope. And just making sure I don't want to repeat anything. Like the biggest thing too with pregnancy is that you're really having to slow down, and almost like you really kind of have to just change your whole approach to life almost, because it's like you're not only taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your new life. Like you're taking care of this other being, and so you listening to your body is really, really crucial. And we can't, maybe some people feel good to operate at the same level that they used to. For me, that is not the case. I know in the first trimester, I don't know anyone that wasn't super tired. So it's like listening to your body is so key. And I mean, I have the freedom that I am my own boss. I work for myself and I work from home. So if I want to take a day or a week off, I have the freedom to do that. And I know not everyone has that, but even my old job when I was working for someone else, like I had open communication with my boss about like, hey, I can't work 50 hours a week anymore. I need to go down to 40 hours a week. And then eventually it was like 35 hours a week. But just if you do have a boss that's not you, then having open communication with your boss and hoping that you have a really, just a good boss, like a good-hearted person as your boss, and having that open communication with them and not feeling like, oh, I'm so weak and I have to step back because I'm so weak. It's actually like, oh, I'm growing. I am a fucking superhuman growing new life, and I need to take care of me so that I can like be the best me for this new life, for my baby, for me. Because your mental health is important. Your being is important just as much as this baby's being is. So learning how to put yourself first and keeping yourself as a priority is huge, and not just for pregnancy, but for motherhood too. I know I lost myself in motherhood for the first 9 months. I was in like a depression hole because I didn't learn from the pregnancy that I needed to put myself first and slow down and make myself the priority. It was like this baby has to be the priority, which to some extent, yes, that's true, but how can you find a balance of like putting the baby first and also finding a way to put you first? So yeah, just finding that balance there and fully listening to your body. And with that, so kind of covered like the rest portion and slowing down. And also with that, like for me and my body, like I need movement every day. And my first pregnancy, I really lost my movement practice. I've been doing yoga consistently since like 2014. And I completely just stopped doing my yoga practice because you hear about all these contraindications for pregnancy. And I was like, oh, this is too much to keep track of. I don't want to hurt my baby. I'm just going to fucking not do anything. And that was like probably the worst thing I could have done. So you don't have to do yoga. Do whatever movement like feels good to you. And if you don't have a movement practice already, then maybe just stretch. Like look up prenatal yoga videos on YouTube. I actually have one from my last pregnancy that's like 40 weeks when I was 40 weeks pregnant. So to me, it's like that would be safe to do up until 40 weeks because I was 40 weeks. But again, you gotta talk to your doctor. Like, I don't know what pre-existing conditions you have. If you have scoliosis, if you have an overcurve in your back, if you have some high-risk pregnancy. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm a healer, not a doctor. So just want to make that clear too. But just listening to your body and like moving has been the biggest thing for me to feel good. Also myofascial release for me, which is a practice that I, again, completely let go of my first pregnancy because I thought it wasn't safe. And I just talked to my midwife. I'm giving birth at a birth center, and so I have midwife nurses, and I just asked them, like, is myofascial release okay? Am I gonna hurt anything? They're like, no, body work is amazing for pregnancy and you wanna keep that up. And in my third trimester, I will be doing chiropractic care. And maybe if I need it sooner. I think last time I started at 20 weeks, but I also started because I fell downstairs and I needed to reset my spine. So yeah, that was rough. But just find whatever movement or body work feels good to you. Again, this is like a Googleable thing. This is something you can chat to with your doctor. And on this note about talking to your doctor and having that relationship with your doctor, it is so important to find a doctor who you love going to, who you're excited to, I'm a question person. I ask questions, and that's just part of my nature. So I want to be able to ask a doctor like all of my questions and not feel judged. And actually, my son's first pediatrician, I remember telling them like, oh yeah, I'm gonna actually like have my son be vegan, and she literally laughed at me, and I said, you know what, I don't feel comfortable here anymore, so I'm gonna choose a new doctor. And now my son's pediatrician I'm obsessed with. I love going to appointments, and I love like just being able to ask him any question that I want. He understands my science brain and doesn't like make me feel dumb or like condescend any of the questions that I ask. So it can already feel like a chore to go to these pregnancy appointments, to go to pediatrician appointments. So find a doctor that you really love and that you really resonate with, so that it is actually a fun task and it doesn't feel like such a chore. It should be fun. Like, and this is across the board, any provider. Like my husband just went to a dentist that was like trying to upcharge and have all these hidden fees, and I'm like, that's not the vibe. I want to have a good dentist that we love, that we can trust. So we're gonna keep going to a dentist until we find one. Like my hairdresser, I went to like 10 different hairdressers when I moved here to Colorado 4 years ago, until I found the one that I have now. And now I drive like 30 minutes to get my hair cut, but I fucking love her and it's worth it to me. So find the doctor that is right for you. It does not matter how late you are in your pregnancy. Like, find the doctor that you like, and check in with your own self. It's another way to listen to your body, listen to your own intuition. Like, find the person that resonates with you, that you really like, because this is such a big, pregnancy and birth is such a big experience, and it almost is like diminished in society. We don't like honor pregnant people, and how just it's fucking magic, and it's a magical time. So you should have a doctor that you love, that respects you, and that you resonate with. So it's a bit of a tangent I wasn't planning on talking about, but if it comes up, I'm going to talk about it. And on that note of like movement, listening to your body and movement, I will say that when I don't do that, when I'm not making movement a priority, when I'm not making like drinking water a priority or resting a priority, I get really bitchy. I get annoyed, I get irritated, and it doesn't feel good to me. So that is definitely something I wish someone had told me in my first pregnancy, because I think that we get into that mode of like, oh, I'm just bitching because I'm pregnant and whatever, and we don't just give ourselves the grace of being like, maybe I'm annoyed because I haven't been making time for myself, and maybe because I'm not slowing down and listening to my body. Like, I have really bad round ligament pain, and I wake up with it every day. So part of my like morning routine, and by morning routine I mean before noon, because I'm chasing after a toddler, so it doesn't always happen like first thing when I wake up. But movement is essential for feeling good. And it's for my body, it's usually like if I stretch my hips, if I stretch my shoulders, that opens my body up enough that my round ligament pain just literally disappears. It's like magic. I'm gonna just turn my fireplace off here. But yeah, it's literally like magic. I don't know how else to describe it other than it just is this, like, you would think that you would need like some big cure to make this pain go away, because the pain is really intense and it can be scary, especially for a first time pregnant person. That's why I just stopped my movement practice, because I was like, oh, if I move, I'm gonna make it worse. And for me and my body, when I move, it makes it better. And most other pregnant people I know have that same experience, that they feel bad and then they move and then they feel better, because our bodies are changing every single day, like honestly probably every hour. And so like making that time for movement, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, I usually tell people like 5 minutes minimum, but for a pregnant person I'm going to say 10 minutes because there's you and another human. So try to like really make that part of your just daily practice. Like give up Instagram scrolling or YouTube scrolling for 10 minutes. I know it can be really hard to tear yourself away from the phone, especially if you're tired and you just want to lay down. But you will not regret like putting your body first and putting your mental health first. Because for me, like my mental health is better when I move my body, and not in this like vigorous crazy way. It's literally just stretching. Like I'll do like the warrior sequence in yoga. Feel free to Pinterest or Google that if you don't know what that means. Or like pigeon pose with a lot of props and pillows and blankets. So please make movement a priority in your pregnancy with your doctor's approval, because again, I don't know if you have pre-existing conditions that maybe limit your mobility, but yeah, movement for me has been a game changer in not only the like bitchiness and annoyance of pregnancy, but also just my body feels really good. So that's a big one. And then another, which I'm gonna drink water now that I'm talking about this, but drinking water is like a huge necessity. This is like a big mason jar. I think this is 1 liter. And I literally drink anywhere from like 8 to 12 of these a day. I usually have my hydro flask, which is like 2 of these, so I don't have to drink quite as much. Usually I drink like 4 or 5 of those a day, but if I just have my mason jars, I drink like literally 8 to 10 of those a day. So really upping your water intake is going to help too, because you have twice the blood in your body now. So you want to like accommodate that with water, and water also helps our muscles like stretch and grow and accommodate. So yeah, the more water you drink, the better. It's like cannabis and water has been like my greatest medicine for this pregnancy. And okay, so we'll switch gears a little bit to a little bit of a not as fun but necessary topic, because again, I wish I had a video where someone was talking to me about this, but pregnancy can be really isolating. And I'll just share a personal experience I just had. So I went on a family vacation with my whole family, and obviously with pregnancy, I'm used to being around people that are drinking, and I can't drink, but it's like one dinner or one lunch. It's like one little time of my afternoon, and it's not like days in a row. And on this family vacation, my family are drinkers. Like when we're together and we're hanging out, it's like drinking is a thing. So that was just weird for me too, to not be able to like partake being pregnant, but then also just being around people that are drinking, and then when they pass that point of being drunk, it's just like being around drunk people when you're sober when you're not pregnant is annoying, and then doing it days in a row, I just like lost my mind a little bit. Especially like people that aren't drinking and have never not drank just don't have that awareness to like just check themselves. Like my sister's telling me, oh my god, they have our favorite sake at this restaurant. I'm like, cool, I can't fucking drink it even though I really want to and I'm really craving it. So yeah, that was like a really isolating thing for me. And the whole like cold turkey sobriety, because like I said in the beginning, like when we find out we're pregnant, it's like instant for us. You can't do all these things, and drinking is a big part of that. And I remember the first pregnancy, I really struggled with that, and I thought that I was kind of like over that with this pregnancy because I haven't been as like annoyed around people that are drinking when I'm not, but being around it for days in a row was like, okay, I'm over this now. So removing yourself from a situation if you need to, or communicating. Like I wish on that vacation I had communicated with my partner like, hey, I'm finding myself getting really frustrated being the only sober person. Could you be sober with me? Because that's how this pregnancy started. He was like supposed to be sober with me, and I've kind of like opened up those boundaries a little bit. And I've also opened up my own boundaries. Like I have had sips of alcohol. I was craving wine really bad actually in my first trimester, so I would like have a sip of red wine. Really like 3 sips, to be honest. Again, I'm not recommending this. I'm just saying for me and my body, like that felt right. And I sat there being like, if I'm craving red wine, like there is a reason I'm craving red wine. Yeah, so that's not the easiest to actually admit. But again, I just hope that this can like help someone feel less alone, and hopefully like empower someone else that is also like, oh, I'm gonna have a few sips of alcohol here and there, like then also don't feel guilty for that. It's our body, it's what we want to do, it's us communicating with our intuition and choosing what's right for us. So that's where like I just feel like we can take the disempowerment away from pregnancy to where we're told what we can and can't do, and it has to be this black and white thing, versus like listening to our body, what our body wants, and making that choice for ourselves, and we get to decide what ultimately is right for us. So I just want to empower other pregnant people to also make that make those decisions for yourself. Don't just not do something because a fucking Google search said it. I think that it just like made my first pregnancy so miserable because I felt like a prisoner. I couldn't do all these things. So take that for what it is. And also like just another part that can be isolating of pregnancy, at least that I've found this far, is just your body is changing every day. Your body changes rapidly, and it can feel really just isolating again. Like someone, especially your partner, if they don't put on weight easily. My husband has like abs and arm muscles without even trying. It's just like genetic for him. So my first pregnancy, I actually got very triggered by like his muscles with my changing body, because I have that build too where it's like, I've always had abs my whole life, and so then when I have like a belly and I'm putting on weight, it's like very triggering to see a small like someone with just that, with abs and with toned fine muscles, when I used to have that, and now it's like, oh, my body's changing. So if you feel like that, you're not alone. I've been there. And I think what's like helping me with this pregnancy too is like, because I hate the narrative that like, oh, we have hormones and so we don't feel like ourselves. But truly, like, some days you wake up and you feel great, and some days you wake up and you feel gross and ugly and just bigger and whatever. And so for me, like, what feels good, also one of my love languages within like my relationship is physical touch. So I've told my partner, like, when you touch me, I feel sexy. So I need you to make more of an effort to like be touching me and having your hands on my body and like cuddling with me, and make that kind of a priority for you, because that really helps me in my mental state. And it feels needy to like ask that, especially I'm not the type of person that usually is like, give me all your attention. But it's like, you know what, that's what I need right now. And so I'm going to lean on you for that support, because that's what you're here for. Like, we are a team, and I get to voice what I need from you. So, yeah, again, just want to share that aspect. I do feel like so privileged to have gone through now 2 pregnancies and just be able to like share my experience, because again, like, I wish someone had just like shared these with me. And I feel like a lot of pregnancy updates are like, people get makeup on and they get all dressed up, and like, I purposely film these on days like I just want to be in bed today. Like, I don't want to put on makeup, I don't want to do my hair, I don't want to put on some fucking outfit that is uncomfortable. Like, I just want to show up as me and just talk and be honest. Whereas I feel like a lot of other pregnancy updates are very like, just all the same, and kind of like, not even disingenuous, but just, they are that, you know, I'm putting on my makeup and I'm getting ready, and it's not like truly, I don't know, some days when you're in pregnancy and it's the day where you like don't feel great or you feel gross or whatever, and then you see this other pregnant person that like is all done up, and you're like, what am I doing wrong? Like, that's why I make these videos for other people, whether you're pregnant or not. Like, I just hope that showing more of like a real aspect. And I don't edit these videos either, because again, I mean, that is more time and I just want to get these videos out. But it's just like a more real and authentic version, and that's like what I always strive to show up online as, is just like the realest version of me. Keep in mind, social media is always going to be some form of a highlight reel. Like, I did open my what is that called? I did open my blinds to like let the light in. And I'll probably shut them right after I film this, but like, just, I want to be transparent, because I feel like a lot of pregnancy videos are not, and I want to just show up as that for other people, and just make you feel less alone, because that's like a big thing in pregnancy. You just feel isolated. You can feel isolated, you can feel alone. So I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. I know the struggle, and I get it. So just want to talk about that. And then the next thing, on kind of like almost an isolating thing with pregnancy, but also just a genuine update for where I'm at. I am kind of developing that mom body. So like, my boobs are bigger now, and therefore my nipples are getting bigger. That really freaked me out my first pregnancy. So that is normal. Your nipples will probably get darker too. And they get darker like literally until the baby is out, and then through that whole like 4th trimester, like the first 3 months of that baby's life, they're going to be probably pretty dark. And like, the evolutionary mechanism behind dark nipples is so your baby, it's like a target, so your baby can like find your nipples and whatever. So just so you know, that's like why they get dark. And I'm up a size in most of my clothing. Some of my clothing still works. Like, I tend to wear like baggier stuff like this. This is actually an old pregnancy bra, because I'm like busting out of my old bras. I used to wear a small, now I'm a medium in pretty much everything. I can still wear my small clothes, but I'm at the point where it's like, this ain't gonna work anymore. And on that note too, what I really like doing in pregnancy, and I did this my last pregnancy, is you get a bin, just buy like a 5-gallon bin at the grocery store, and then anytime that you put on a piece of clothing and it doesn't fit, just put it in the bin, put it in storage, don't look at it for like a year after birth. Like, that's how long it took me to fit into my other clothes. So just get the clothes out of your closet, out of sight, out of mind, because for me, it was really triggering to see these clothes that I couldn't fit in, and it would make me feel really bad about my body. So, and it also just takes up space in your closet, and that's fucking annoying to have clothes that you literally can't wear that you know that you want to wear again someday. So just as you notice things don't fit you, put them in the bin, put the bin away, keep the bin out in storage or whatever, and then again, access the bin in like a year. Go through what you want to keep, go through what you don't want to keep, and let that be done. But I just like to have that like clear closet and clear closet space, so that I just don't like to have shit in my closet that I don't wear. That's like really just frustrates me. I don't know. So that is a really good thing that I do that I wish someone had told me my first pregnancy. This is going to be a long video. I hope that whoever watches this enjoys the longer videos. I usually don't make them super long, but I had a lot to say with this one. And okay, so this was part of my kind of like with the struggle with sobriety that I had on my family vacation. Like I was really frustrated with those times, and instead of like allowing myself to be frustrated, I would just shove it down and shove it down and shove it down, and that's like what led to a mental breakdown. So allow yourself to feel how you want to feel. And if you don't have a meditation practice, like a standard way to think about this is like, oh wow, I notice that I'm frustrated. Wow, okay, I honor that I'm frustrated right now. It's okay to be frustrated right now. It's okay to be annoyed and to feel bitchy right now. It's okay that I feel annoyed and bitchy right now. And like not trying to use your tools to get out of the frustration, but rather like just allowing it to be there, because the more that we fight to get out of the emotion rather than just like allowing it to be there, when you allow it, it can wash over you and then pass, rather than being like, oh, I feel frustrated. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I need to stop that. And it just creates all this resistance, and resistance does not feel good. So, yeah, just allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. And I already said, I kind of touched on already, like seeing your partner as your teammate rather than a competition. Like my first pregnancy again, I got in such a mode of like, my day was harder than yours because I'm pregnant and blah, blah, blah. And that just wasn't a helpful narrative, because he felt like he wasn't like allowed to talk to me if he had a hard day or if he was struggling. Like he didn't feel comfortable to talk to me, understandably, because I'm always saying, oh, well, my day was harder. Like no matter what he would say to me, well, my day was harder than yours because I'm growing a baby. So, being able to see your partner as a teammate, if you're lucky enough to have a partner, and like just because we're pregnant doesn't mean that we can't hold space for people that aren't pregnant. So, and there will be times where you're like, hey, I really just can't hold space for you right now. And, you know, setting those boundaries as you need to. But when you are available, like this is why listening to your body and doing your movement and doing your body work is so important, because the more that you do that and the more that you feel good, the more that like you can hold space for others, and you can be a good partner and a good wife and a good like mom and a good daughter and a good friend to other people, which that's something that's really important to me. It's like showing up for the people in my life, which is not always possible. But when I take care of myself, then I can do that. So yeah, your partner is your teammate. So see them as your teammate rather than like you're in competition with them of who had the harder day. Okay. And one last thing before I go into like journal prompts you can use, just being open to change. Like your body is changing every day. Like I said, you're going to have an influx of different emotions come up, and allowing them to come, like kind of just taking it literally one day at a time, like morning, afternoon, nighttime, like that segmented out, taking it that little bit at a time, because every day is going to be different. Your body's going to feel different every day. Your mind is going to feel different every day. So giving yourself the grace and stop being an asshole to yourself. Like, that's not helpful. It's not helpful for anybody, but especially a pregnant body. So just be mindful of that. Like, allow yourself the grace to just be, and be how you want to be, and really like just allowing yourself to feel how you want to feel, and then moving through your day like in a way that's going to make you feel really good, whether you're at work, whether you're working at home, like going on walks for 5 minutes in the day, taking your breaks at work, especially eating food and drinking water and going to the bathroom. Like, that's huge. It's something I didn't do my first pregnancy. I would literally finish my task I was on before I would take a break. And now I'm like, I see people that have to finish the task they're on before they can take a break. And I'm like, you're insane. And I literally used to do that. So, and that's for someone that's pregnant or not. Like, you're allowed to put your needs above work. Because at the end of the day, if you died, they would be replacing you in a day. So put yourself first, because your company, you know, especially if you're working for someone else, they're going to put themselves first. So you don't owe anyone putting your health and your nutrition on the back burner for the company. So I don't know who needs to hear that, but it came through. So someone must need to. Okay, last two things. I want to just share some journal prompts that were like super transformative for me. I have been keeping track of these, and I'll make it into like a nice little workbook at the end of my pregnancy that I'll make available. But for now, if you like any of these journal prompts, just like write them on a sheet of paper or in your journal and journal through them. And like I said, I'll have a little thing at the end of my pregnancy for you guys. First one, what fears are coming up for you with pregnancy? For example, how will my work life change? How am I going to handle this? How will my relationships change? How will my friends experiencing infertility feel? Next is, what do you believe to be true about pregnancy? Next, sometimes our beliefs didn't even originate in our own minds, but rather from movies, family, friends, past experience, etc. Where did these beliefs about pregnancy originate? And then the next prompt is, what do you want to believe to be true about pregnancy? Next prompt, sometimes we believe that other people can have joyous, happy pregnancies, but it can't happen for us. Whether it comes from our past experiences or the projections onto us from others, what limited beliefs about pregnancy do you need to let go of in order to fully call in the pregnancy of your dreams? That one was like huge for me, and I had to do so much work with this journal prompt. But I really feel like now I'm in such a different headspace with my pregnancy because of all of these journal prompts, but especially that one. And like, this is work. Like, this is, you know, when I started working for myself, I really had to like redefine what work means, but like journal prompts and working through your own limited beliefs is work, and don't let anyone tell you that it's not. So this is like, to me, the most important work of pregnancy is like looking at your limited beliefs, what you believe to be true about pregnancy, what do you want to be true about pregnancy, and how can you let go of the limited beliefs so that you can fully like adopt all of the like high vibrational beliefs about pregnancy so that you can have an ease-filled pregnancy. Like, I literally did not think I could be someone that was happy in pregnancy. And while I'm not happy every single second of every single day, like, I am happy as my primary vibration in pregnancy, whereas the last time I was miserable, I literally don't think I had a positive thought. So these have been such a game changer for me, and I highly recommend them. Any that you resonate with, like, journal through it. And I have some more too. Rest and taking care of and nurturing your body is an essential part of having a healthy and happy pregnancy. What practices make you feel good, and which of these can you implement daily? And then, have you noticed any practices that you do that keep you out of alignment with feeling good? For example, scrolling on your phone for long periods of time, focusing on being tired and uncomfortable, and not changing scenery throughout the day. And then the next prompt, I swapped scrolling on my phone first thing in the morning for moving my body first thing, and it was an absolute game changer for how I felt the rest of the day. True. Swapping habits that make us feel miserable for habits that make us feel pleasant is essential for someone calling in an ease-filled life and pregnancy. What habits are you willing to let go of, and what habits will you be replacing them with? And again, I put a star by this one because that was like such a transformative journal prompt for me. Because I used to wake up and I would just get on my phone first thing and like scroll on my phone. And then when I'm doing that, like I'm not able to like wake up and check in with my body and be like, how does my body feel today? What I want to eat for breakfast? How does my hydration feel? Do I need to chug some water? And now like my first priority in the morning is like lay in bed, meditate for a few minutes, gratitude practice, like go through my desires list, and then drink water, eat, move my body, and that's kind of like that's kind of my routine. And another thing, like update wise, is like I'm feeling a lot of movement lately, so I just felt little kicks, or it honestly just feels like my kid's like flipping around in there, so okay. And I'm just gonna read all of these. If you're like, okay, I'm over these journal prompts, you can just fast forward to the last like minute, because I'll give you some book suggestions too, but I just want to read all of these so that in case someone like needs them, then they can have them. So sometimes we can align with frustration because of the lack of control we feel over our own body and pregnancy. Where in your life do you feel you have no control because of your pregnant body? The thing is, you can choose the energies you'd like to invite into your body during this time. For instance, you can bring attention to fear, worry, and resistance, or you can choose to align yourself with acceptance, self-love, and expansion. In order to leave behind the victim mentality, it is essential that we're ready to see things differently. How can you see things differently? And then I think that's it. That's it for now. That's it for the first trimester journal prompt, so I'll just leave it at that for now. And if you want me to just send you like, because this is literally just a journal format, I'll be putting it on my website eventually. Like I said, I'd like to just wait till I'm done with pregnancy so I can see every journal prompt that comes up. But if you want it now, just email info@rainbowrach.com. Rainbow has 2 W's in it, and I will send you the copy of this so that you can have it, so you can do your own like journal prompts. And then last thing I'm gonna say is some books. And these are actually just all on my, oh, please don't fall. All on my bedside table. I read a bunch of different books at once, and we're just gonna I'm gonna just show you every single book I have. Okay, this is like #1 recommend. If you read none of these books, please, please, please pick up this one, Orgasmic Birth. Who is this by? Elizabeth Davis and Deborah Pascali-Bonaro. I have a biology degree, and I knew nothing about the biology of how birth works, and this book breaks it down. Yes, it's about orgasmic birth, like, it's more so there's just little snippets of stories of, like, positive birth stories, which I think is really important to fill your mind with if you're pregnant. Like, don't watch movies where the mom is, like, screaming in pain and she's pissed at the dad. Like, don't fill your mind with bullshit, negative birth stories. Like, even I was watching, oh my god, what is that show? Like the Bella Twins show, and they both had negative birth experiences. So I just fast forwarded through the whole thing. I was like, I don't need to put this in my mind right now. So this just has so many good birth experience stories, and it also just like literally breaks down the biology of what's happening. It talks about stretch receptors, and it talks about like even just Pitocin and like endorphins and just everything. So this is the book that I highly, highly, highly recommend. This was actually gifted to me at my first baby shower, and I have read it already, and I'm reading it again. So it's so fucking good. Can't recommend that enough. This one is more for like, if you know that you want to do, if you're already a yogi, like I would recommend this one. This just basically, there's like positive and negative reviews on this one. I like it because I just like to be able to like look at a book and just get ideas. So this one actually has a lot of affirmations, which I love. Mantras. There's like little depictions of what's happening. And I personally don't really love like looking at like 15-week update like from a science perspective, because it can have disempowering information in it. I'm just trying to stay away from all the disempowering shit. And this is, this book just like gives you the breakdown of things without having it be disempowering. So that's why I like this book. And then I'm trying to find like the pictures. So it will like give you like a yoga pose, the benefits of the pose, how to do the pose, and like how to get comfortable in the pose and that kind of thing. And then this one's great, how to not to hate your husband after kids. This was recommended to me by, to her audience, Casey Davis. She's on TikTok as Struggle Care. She's incredible, and she got a lot of her info from this book. So if you're, especially if you're like a clean freak, that is going to change when you have a baby. Not even because it's like you just have to get comfortable living in a mess, because otherwise you will drive yourself to a point of exhaustion. And I know because I've been there. So I wish someone had told me about this in my first pregnancy. Let's see what I just earmarked. Let me just read something because it's coming out to me. I'll just read it. I want to fully enjoy the family I have been yearning for all my life, and to take active notice of the many good things that my husband does. Our home should be a place of safety and comfort for all of us. It is impossible to stuff the genie back into the bottle after you have children and go back to the way you used to be. Life has changed, and we have to change with it. Denying this reality courts misery and even disaster. Okay. Hopefully that helps someone, but... home is where the birth is. If you follow me on Instagram, which I will link my Instagram in the comment section or in the drop down. But this is by Talise Xavier, and she had 6 home births. This is her story of all 6 home births and how you can do it too. Again, I have an interview with her on my Instagram. I will link that in the description box. And if you're interested in watching that. This is a really short read. It's like less than 100 pages, and I just really liked this book. I just hadn't ever known of anyone to give that many home births, so she really just like breaks it down nicely for you. And then this one is not anything to do with pregnancy, but The Spontaneous Healing of Belief by Greg Braden. It's essentially like basically the placebo effect. The placebo effect, for what, if you don't know, there are all of these clinical trial studies where people are either given a placebo, like a sugar pill, a fake pill, and then they're given the real medicine. And the people that are given the sugar pill or the placebo actually have like the same results as people with the medicine, because they believe that they're getting the real medicine. That's like how powerful belief is. So yeah, this is just like, this is typically one I don't read this from cover to cover. I kind of just use this like a tarot deck. I open it and then I'll read from it. So, yeah, I won't read that. But yeah, this was probably my longest video where I'm just talking. So if you watched the whole thing, thank you for sticking around. I hope that you found this video useful. I hope that you feel less alone after watching this. And yeah, I hope that you can, whether you're pregnant or not, this like helps you just wrap your mind around kind of the experience of being pregnant, so that you can either prepare yourself for pregnancy or just be support to people in your life that might be pregnant. So again, thank you for listening. And my Instagram is Rainbow Rach with 2 W's and an asterisk between. I will link that below if you want more I just post like uplifting content, but also like I said, I try to just be as real and authentic as possible. So that is the content that you'll find there. And yeah, so check that out if you resonate with these videos at all. And I will see you in the next one.